welcome to this Pangbourne College Detox Day Masterclass for sourdough baking. I'm going to show you some step-by-step instructions for how to make your own sourdough loaf, which hopefully you will have a go at during this detox day. There will be some step-by-step instructions which I will take some screenshots for so that you can print it off and use as your own guide if you wish to, in order to avoid following the screen in the kitchen while you make this. So to start with, I've got my sourdough starter. This is now 2 years old. I have to feed it at least once a week. I keep it in the fridge, take it out when I'm going to make a loaf. If you don't keep it in the fridge, you have to feed it at least every other day, and that involves putting equivalent quantities of water and bread flour, mixing it up, and then leaving it to let the natural yeasts develop among themselves. So this is one that I've never actually completely run out of. I just add to it and then take out what I need to make my sourdough loaf, and then put the rest back in the fridge. To start with, ideally you want to start a few days ahead. 50 grams of flour, 50 grams of water, mix it up, leave it somewhere warm so that it can start to generate its own natural yeasts. Following day, take half of that, throw it away, use another 50 grams of yeast, another 50 grams of flour, another 50 grams of water, leave it again. Next day, take out half, throw it away. Do that for 3 or 4 days, and then you've got the basis of a decent sourdough starter. The longer you can keep that going, the better the sourdough bread flavour that you get at the other end of it. So here we go. I'm just going to actually add 100 grams of water and then 100 grams of flour, and then we'll come back to it tomorrow and make our loaf. Having done that, I'll mix it up. Over the next 3 hours it's going to probably double in size, and then because this has been well established, I can then start to make my sourdough mix in the mixing bowl, and then it takes about 6 hours, and then ideally overnight in the fridge to prove before we then put it in the oven to make the loaf itself. That gives it all enough time for the texture, the folding of the dough, and the rising of the natural yeast inside the flour dough mixture. Back later on. The sourdough starter has now had about 3 hours. That seems to be about the optimal amount of time for the latest flour and water mix to build itself up and start to ferment. It's settled back down again, and now we'll put our dry ingredients in first, which for a decent sized loaf is about 500 grams of bread flour. I start out with probably about 200 grams of strong white flour. That's about right. I add about 100 grams of wholemeal bread flour as well. And then for the particular loaf I'm making, a sort of country grain loaf, I add 200 grams of the granary flour. That brings it up to the 500 grams of dry mix. There we go. And into that I put my sourdough starter and water. Now, the connoisseurs of sourdough baking talk about hydration levels, and they tend to talk about an 80% hydration. That makes a very wet dough, which makes it quite difficult to mix on our work surface. So I tend to stay a bit below that, and for a 500 gram flour base, I tend to put in about 300 grams of water. But in addition to that, in reducing the amount of water I put in, I do therefore add a bit more of my sourdough starter. So I would normally add 150 grams of sourdough starter, 400 grams of water. I've found that with my own bread making, 300 grams of water, 250 grams of sourdough starter, that gives it a bit more energy in the yeast arising process. So it is quite important to have got the the starter up to a level. So just concentrating on this for a moment, we need to get up. Total weight will be about 1,050 grams, which that is pretty much bang on. Add to that about a good palmful, small palmful like that, a palmful of rock salt, sea salt, and then it goes in the mixer, and it has 15 minutes with the dough hook. A real connoisseur would probably mix this all by hand and spend the next hour or so cleaning their hands off. So I'm not that committed. Mine's going straight onto my stand mixer, 15 minutes, and that allows the gluten structures to really start to work themselves together, and you get a much better structure to your loaf at the end. So that's what we're going to do next. After about 15 minutes of kneading, either on a stand mixer with a dough hook, which I'm very lucky to have, or if you haven't got one, you can do it perfectly well on a hard surface. Doesn't need a lot of flour, just needs a lot of work, really pushing the dough away, building up the gluten structures. You're left with something that looks a bit like this, and it's firm enough that there's no drips. You can see it's really holding its shape. That's just the strength of the gluten structures, keeping it all in there. And all you need to do now is leave it in its bowl, a quick spray of water, if you've got something like this, quick spray of water to stop the top drying out, cover it up with an old tea towel, and just leave it. I'd leave it a couple of hours. We'll come back, have a look at it, we'll take it out, give it a bit of a fold, start to build the structure of it, which will be the loaf itself, spray it again, leave it for another hour. We'll do that 2 or 3 times, and then it goes in the basket, its proving basket, in the fridge overnight, ready for baking tomorrow. And we'll come back and see this in a couple of hours' time, see how it's started to build up in size. Okay, so the bread has had its first 2 hours of proving time, and we'll just have a quick look at it there. It's starting to increase in size. We're going to spray it, put it on the work surface, give it a fold, start to build the gluten structure in the bread, put it back in again, and then leave it for another hour. The water just stops it sticking to the work surface. There's no particular method for this, but you'll notice how it doesn't stick to the work surface. That's partly because it's been sprayed with water, which is better, I think, than adding lots of extra flour, which would change the texture of the bread. So you can see I'm just lifting it up, pulling it back against itself, and then folding it in. And once I've done that perhaps 10 times, maybe not quite as much as that, it's ready to go back in the bowl. That should just about do it. So it goes back in the bowl. You can see my hands virtually clean. Another spray of water and another hour on the clock. The bread's now had 4 hours sitting in the bowl, just gently rising. We're now going to take it out onto the work surface, give it one more fold on there before putting it in the proving basket overnight. So a little bit of flour around the edge, just to help prevent it sticking. Some on the surface here should come out without too much difficulty. And hopefully you can see it's built up in size quite nicely. That will continue to happen. It will carry on improving and rising, even in the fridge overnight. So I'm now just getting rid of the excess moisture on the outside of it, trying not to squash all the air out of it, because that's what helps give the sourdough, its texture. We really only want to do that last fold one more time. So loads of different ways of doing this. I just prefer to fold it in on itself and make a bit of a seam down the middle, as you can see. And then once at each end, just to try and close up those gaps. Now I put a bit more flour on the top and then turn it over before it goes into the proofing basket in about 20 minutes time. All about trying to prevent it from sticking when it's on the work surface. So that's about it. We've got a seam down the middle. The rest of it, you can see some air bubbles starting to appear around the edges. We'll just turn it over onto the floured surface and leave it there to carry on rising just a little bit for another half an hour, and then it will go into the proofing basket and into the fridge overnight. So there we are, you can see it's about the right size already, ready to go in. We'll give that half an hour, dust it over a little bit more, dust flour into the proofing basket, and then that's our work done for today. Bread's had another half an hour just resting on the work surface here. Now just going to cover it over with a light layer of flour, and then it goes into the proofing basket. You can see it's plumped up quite nicely, so that's a good sign that the yeast inside the sourdough is still working away. So just smooth that over, scrape underneath, trying quite carefully not to disturb the bubbles that have started to build up. All the time just squeezing it back in on itself like this, so it's keeping its loaf-like shape. And then with a bit of luck we'll be able to turn it over. Just make sure there are no slightly sticky edges to the bread, or the dough rather, so that it's not going to get stuck in the basket when we come to take it out tomorrow morning to cook off. And then you can perhaps just see the seam that was there has now just settled. It's just all gone smooth, and that's a good sign. That means that it's going to hold itself together. So a few more squeezes like this, and then into the basket. You can see that sits pretty flat at this stage. Tomorrow that will have smoothed itself or evened itself up, and that should make for a really nice loaf. So that's it. We don't cover it up in the fridge. That's actually quite a good thing, just to dry the top layer off. So when that comes out, it'll be turned over and go into the Dutch oven to cook. And we want that to be a little bit drier, so that it doesn't separate and spread out too much when it gets immediately turned out at the point of cooking. So that's it. It's going in the fridge overnight, and we'll come back to it and see how it is tomorrow when we bake it off. Here we are, next day. Bread's been in the fridge overnight, as you can see. It's just risen up slightly, it's carried on proving in the fridge. When I press down, you can see it just springs back. We've preheated the oven to 250 degrees, pretty much as high as most ovens will go. And I've also had the Dutch oven, the cast iron pot that the bread is going to bake in. That's been heating up in there as well. So we're going to take that out, put the bread straight in there, and we slice it using one of these very sharp, almost like a Stanley knife for the kitchen for bread. We'll slice that once it's in the pan, because we'll chop the other side of it, and that gives the bread room to expand when it's heating, and that makes a real difference. You'll notice that this at the moment is just slightly bigger than my palms. When it goes in, it will expand in the initial first 25 minutes or so of the really high heat, and that will give it its ball shape and allow the crust to really open up and give it its more traditional sourdough texture. So we'll get the Dutch oven out now and go from there. So we're going to work quite quickly so that we don't lose too much heat. It is extremely hot, as you'd expect, and hopefully this won't stick to the sides because of the flour we had around the edges of it. That's always encouraging when it comes out. You don't actually need one of these proving baskets. You can use a tea towel in a bowl. That works just as well, really. You would need to remember to flour the tea towel and perhaps have one with fairly smooth cloth sides rather than one of those ridged ones. So we'll now just slice across the bread, and that will give it both a particular pattern and also allow the bread to expand when it's in the oven itself. So it's going back in the oven now. Lid back on, and in it goes. And it'll now have half an hour at this really high temperature, 250 degrees, and we'll turn it down to about 200, 210, take the lid off and allow the crust to, I think they say it's caramelized, but certainly we get that much darker, more attractive looking crust for the last 25 minutes, and then take it out and it's pretty much ready to go. Bread's now had half an hour in the oven at 250, so we're going to take the lid off and we'll have a look inside, make sure that the dough has risen up properly, and then it has another 25 minutes or so at about 200, 210 degrees. Bread's had its final 25 minutes in the oven at 200, 210 degrees. It's now time for it to come out, and it really needs to rest for probably an hour before we cut into it. So let's have a look and see what it looks like. See, it's got a nice caramelized top there, so I'm pretty happy with that, how it looks. I'm quite pleased with how that's come out. Good sign of it is if we give it a little squeeze, we should know whether it's got a good crust to it, and we'll be able to hear it almost cracking. That sounds pretty good. So we'll leave it an hour and then we'll slice into it and see what it looks like inside. So there we have it, a beautiful fresh sourdough loaf made by your own hands as part of Digital Detox Day. Hopefully you'll have a go. If you make a start with your sourdough starter in the next day or so, should be ready for full use on Wednesday. Let me know how you get on. You can follow along step-by-step instructions which you can print off, so you don't even need to watch this video all through again. Good luck and enjoy the outcome.